Hi, my name's Chris, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to take your app idea, outsource it, and make the passive income from it in this course coming up. Hey guys, thank you for checking out this video. This is going to be a very informal video. I'm just wearing my Red Bull shirt. I got some blue jeans. I'm just eating lunch with my daughter here, eating some ramen noodle and beans, and I got my Dove over here. So it's not going to be a professional laser pointer tutorial, but I'm just going to teach you everything you need to know. Quiet down. So do you have an app idea but have zero programming experience and a limited budget? Well, you can still make an app with just your idea by outsourcing all of your ideas and thoughts and pay someone else to do it, and it almost costs nothing. So here's how you do it. So the first step is you need to get a feel for the market and make sure your ideas align with what is currently successful in the app markets. Now, once you have your app idea ready to go, write a brief fixed rate job post on your favorite outsourcing website. I personally recommend Elance or Odesk because they're really easy to use and they both have a money back guarantee. So if you have any issues with your freelancer, you'll get a full refund. No questions asked. Oh, you're all done? Okay. Hop out. Thank you for dining with me, trader. Now be sure to keep your job post basic, at least until an NDA is signed. When reviewing applicants on either of these sites, delete anybody who is under a 5-star. You want the best. If you want a good app, you need the best programmer to do it for you. Now another way, a little hint here, another way to weed out bad or just people that don't know what they're doing with building apps, here's one question you should definitely ask them. How long does it take for you to integrate a monetization platform like Chartboost into an app? Because here's the thing, on average it takes about 15 minutes. So anyone who says over an hour, just delete them. Just get rid of them. And the only reason you want the best big time is because it's apps. It's a super competitive market. You got 7-year-olds making apps nowadays. So just interview potential candidates and go from there. And here's a little tip, and this is just my personal opinion. Based on reviews, look for people in India. Just India. India, I don't know what it is about people in India, but they know how to make great apps. I would stay away from China and pretty much everywhere else. India is where you want to outsource your app idea. I promise you, just do it. Now, once you have the framework of the app finished, you need graphics. So you need eye-catching graphics because it's almost imperative to any app. You know, not everything can be a Minecraft these days. Now, you can also use Odesk or Elance for this as well, but personally, I would recommend 99 Designs if you've ever heard of it. Personally, it's, in my opinion, and you can do your research on this on YouTube or something, but it is the best outsourcing website for graphic design, which is what you're gonna need for this graphics. How 99 Designs work is you have hundreds of designers that will come to you to kind of pit to they want the work from you. What is it, Dove? And so when you find the designer you like within 99 Designs, you select the winner. It's as easy as that. And then from there, your app's complete. But now here's what you got to do. It's not a big deal. You have to have an app store monetization. Now here's a little tip. 65% of your web traffic comes from keywords. So keyword optimization is imperative, crucial to you making this app. Word of mouth, that's kind of second. Keywords are first, but word of mouth follows very close. What I'm reading right here is Apple allows you to use a minimum of 100 characters per localization. So with that, to maximize the space, you would want to use commas without any spaces in between each keyword, phrase, letter, word. Now when looking for keywords, look for keywords that are high in traffic but low in competition. Now with ASO specifically, you have to remember to think outside the box. Basically just use synonyms. Don't hesitate to put keywords in the title as well. Now where can you go to research keywords? If you don't have any ideas and you need some help, here's my 3 top picks. Now whether it's for an app or a website, the three I personally recommend. First one is Longtail Keyword Pro. And in fact, a common problem that most people make when making a keyword is they use just single words. It's good to pack a few words in there. Longtail Pro is probably the best out there. So without overwhelming you, I would just use that one. Now, by targeting long tail keywords, it can significantly increase your chances of coming up in a keyword search. You'll also rank higher because there'll be less competition in the search. Now, another good keyword search thing actually is Sensor Tower. They're actually I would say they're second best. But that one's more for finding keywords that your competitors are already using. But here's a little tip. I'm just gonna get closer to the camera. No one's around me, but I would just go to the App Store. Here's what I've done. You just go to the App Store, start typing in something, and a list will pop up of like closer, just in the drop-down bar. Just those are good keywords. Those are high trafficked, searched keywords. So I would try that. And if anything, that way will just give you an idea of keywords to search for, to put in your own keyword searches. Now, if you run out of keyword space, there's a tiny little bitty glitch in the system, and I'll show you a little bit about that right now. So in the Spanish localization, any keywords you use in the name or in the keyword section actually gets indexed in the US store. Really, any keywords that didn't fit in the US localization will fit in the Spanish one. So you can use all the other keywords in the Mexican Hispanic section. You can probably even link them through the iTunes Connect portal. And all this is going to do is maximize your keyword output, so odds of you getting found are much more better with more keywords. That's all that is. You don't even have to do that part if you don't want to. So be sure to include exact match long-term keywords, especially in the app title. And all that's going to do is it's basically going to increase your chance of ranking high in the search category. See, and long worded keyword titles, basically just think of it as more weight, more oomph behind your keyword under searches that people will look under. And just, you know what, just localize all your keywords in different languages, as many languages as you can, because the App Store is global. All right, now when it comes to marketing your app, a website does wonders. And here's a few that I'm going to recommend. You could use Wix. That's a simple platform. I have a website on Wix. There's free versions, there's paid versions. You get a domain and all that stuff. And I think it might be, I can't remember. It depends what package you get. It's probably like, $200, something like that. And this will easily double your traffic by having a website. It's basically just going to increase your search rank in Google. Personally, I would recommend Bluehost for your hosting website for all your apps. And see, it's really easy to use. That's pretty much, and it's super cheap. In my opinion, Bluehost is probably the top website you'd want to dabble in, especially with the apps is what I'm talking about. So when I say easy to use with Bluehost, it's you fill out your name and address. That's pretty much it. If you wanted to go free, there's Tumblr sites, there's WordPress sites, but just go with Bluehost, okay? It's just so much easier. You're already probably going to be a little bit overwhelmed because you don't know what you're doing. And probably one of the biggest downsides to a free website is that you're limited to certain plugins you can attach into your website, and you're not allowed to advertise. Now on your website, you can YouTube this more. You're going to want your app, graphics, pictures, screenshots of it. You're uploading different content pieces and reviews and sync all of your social media to it if you'd like, just to drive more traffic to your personal website. Be sure to leave a brief description, and maybe actually it'd be a good idea to let people know what devices your app is available on. Personally, put in your contact info and maybe like a promotional video showing here's what your app is about, here's what you're pushing, and here's what the buyer is gonna get. And really the video is gonna be the quickest way for someone to assess your app. You could also include a press kit as well, just with reviews and whatnot, but just work on the website after you get it built. Like I said, outsource it from India. If you wanna create prior buzz to your app's launch, I would set up if you don't have it, a emailing list where you collect people's emails, so you can like send them emails directly about, you know, your next app coming out, or here's what you might like to know, here's a fun tip and trick. Email lists are becoming essentially huge for any business of any kind. And with this app business, it's a great personal way to reach out to your customer, your client, and kind of let them know that you're here, you're there. And it's very simple, especially in Bluehost. They have little format things you can get so people just fill out their information and then you have it. In fact, having a mailing list is probably one of the biggest, best things you can have, because not just because it gives you more information about the people on your site. You get their email, but it is essential, and all I can say is that it's huge and crucial for your app. Once you have your app on your website, you need a mailing list. You need one. Just do it. Now, for a mailing list, actually, just thinking about it, Aweber is probably the easier route on that. So, yeah. As far as your fan base goes, it's important to embed viral components within your app. And here's the overall goal with that is your users need to become your marketers. Remember when I talked about word of mouth is probably the second most best way of marketing? What's the best way to have your app go viral? Ask your customers to link it and share it and talk about it on their social media, but make it feel like it's not a favor. Have it just be a simple request, or if you would, kind of a step towards. Basically just make it so it sounds like it's something worth spreading. So ideally, you want to design a product that advertises itself through word of mouth. And a bonus, if you can create a residue from it that kind of sticks around in people's minds. Markari, they're always having ads on YouTube. I can't watch a video without Markari popping up. And that's because they have such a group of people that are constantly talking about this or that. And in fact, that's how I heard about Udemy. It's from word of mouth. But keep in mind, users have to be acquired, and with a slew of apps in the App Store, it can be kind of tricky and hard to get your app to stand out from all the other apps. Because really, these days, a good idea is just not enough. And that's why you really got to target the right people, especially with marketing. It's like Facebook, when you do a boost for your post, you have a select category, and that's kind of the way you got to go into as far as marketing. You don't just want everybody, you want a select group, because it costs money to market. Basically, if your app is a fashion-themed app, you should be putting up blogs on Hypebeast or Fashionista. But now if you have a game app, you're going to want to hit up blogs like Touch Arcade or 148apps.com, either of those two. And in fact, it wouldn't be a bad idea to request an app review through either of those sites, whatever category your app falls into. One thing to your advantage is that journalists are constantly looking for stories, so it shouldn't really be hard to get your app reviewed, especially if you're looking for feedback on it. Journalists like it when you make it easy for them, so just give them the whole thing. Just let them have it. Let them tell them what your app's about. Here's the process in it, and they will come to you as far as that goes. Now, a few other outsourcing ideas, platforms to use is I can't pronounce it. It's like Fiverr or Upwork. Those are really popular ones as well. And just a personal tip, you can create an app on Android, you could create an app on iOS, but since it's your first app, I assume this is going to be your first app, I would highly recommend going iOS. I can't put emphasis enough. You need to build your app through iOS. It's way simpler. If you don't trust me, go on YouTube or wherever, or ask anybody who's ever built an app. It's a bugger on Android. I don't know why they make it so hard, but here's the only thing. When you build an app through Apple, basically, is you need an Apple product. If you know, so get a Mac, or I would say an iPod, but no, you would need a desktop for this. So get a Mac, just a cheap one. Go on Craigslist, get any Apple. Unless you already have one, that's great. Skip the whole Android app building. It's hard, it's frustrating, it's not easy. And I just say that because if this is your first app, you don't want to fizzle out, because to give you some hope, as great as a lot of apps are, there is continually better apps to make. It's almost like movies these days. You're like, how in the world, do you want a hug? Are you just wrapped up in you are the most cute, adorable little nugget. Can I lay by you? This is my baby, she's 2. You're so cute. You are your mother's daughter, though. Wrap up in a blankie, watching Land Before Time. Crazy. But seriously, that's pretty much how easy it is to make an app. And when I say make an app, I mean you have the idea. And if you're like me, you don't know how to develop nothing. And with the idea, you outsource it. It takes a little bit of money. Typically, okay, for all outsourcing, 99 designs and whatever outsourcing for the actual app to be developed, it's going to cost, I don't know, it could cost you, well, it's going to be under $2,000. And that seems like a lot of money. But it doesn't take many apps to realize, and this is all if you have a good idea. Of course, there's some luck into it. I mean, if you have a good idea, there's a lot of good ideas, but you need an app that will go viral, and you're going to get millions of downloads. And you know, apps started out as a simple thing where you play a game or whatever, but they're turning into, you know, there's in-store purchases. I mean, have them download the app for free and then just bombard them with, there's an app called Plague. It's very popular. I typically don't buy apps, but this one I had to buy the in-store purchase to beat the game because it was just too slow. There was ads popping up. There was this and that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's the in-store purchases you're going to want to focus on as far as making money rather than putting a $2 price tag on the app to download. And as far as, you know, can that be changed in the future? Can you make changes? You bet you can. It's going to cost you a little more for your guy in, I'm going to say it, India to, you know, go back and filter through to make the app however you want it. If you want to tweak and change as it comes, Christmas comes, you want to put a Santa hat on, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And if it goes good, do whatever your app's name is, number 2. And the only tip I have as far as outsourcing, especially when you go to outsource to like India, make sure there isn't a language barrier. That can be tricky. You don't want a language barrier. The guy can be the best app designer ever, affordable. He gets it. He's been there, done that. But if you can't understand him, that's a problem. Maybe he can understand you, but you have to be able to understand the developer. You're going to want to do, you know, reach out through typing text if he responds, and there might be a slight waiting list, which is fine. Because if you find one you like and it works out, just do it. You're going to want to do maybe a face chat just to kind of get that way. A lot of people are just looking for a good rating. You know, good money, but more so a good rating. And you'd think like, whoa, $1,000? They'd build an app for $1,000? Yeah. Yep, they do. They would, because it's not hard for them. It's not hard at all. So one thing I thought would be kind of valuable is to let's go to the app Play Store through my Android tablet, and let's just kind of see what apps, like what are some ideas? What are some possibilities? What would it take to, obviously can't copy, but let's say you were to take an app and you went to your person who's gonna make an app for you wherever you decide to outsource. And let's say you go to Upwork, you find a guy in India, and he's a 5-star, you understand his language, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, pandemic, or whatever, what's that app called? Whatever, we'll say there's a Monopoly game. I want a game like this. Can you make one like this and kind of bypass it so it wouldn't fall under the copyright or the trademark aspect of it? So let's just take a gander. I haven't looked previously through the Play Store. We're just going to see what's popular, what's working, what's not, and go from there. All right, so here's what we got cooking. Got my 1-year-old helping us. No, do you want to sit with us? Trying to reach a tablet? I'm sorry, you can't. Okay, come here. Oh, big girl, sitting with us. Oh, you're so pretty. Aren't you, big glass-eyed, blue-eyed chick? All right, so here's what we're looking at. This is the opening page. Boy, that looks like the lady from Friends right here. What? You're fine. Oh. All right, well, clicking on that one, it looks like we got over 100,000 views, pretty good ratings. These little journey games, I'm telling you what. I don't know much about in-store purchases or what. That's where they get you, though. It has an amazing rating. You could tell your guy to go through and have you make one of these mystery things. All the ones related. Oh, these are popular. Bubble Shooter. How the in-store purchases work with this, because that's where you're going to make your money. It's through the in-store purchases. 326 levels. You know, and then really, you know, you don't just want to copy, but, you know, how can you really make a game like this and then improve upon it? That's what we're looking for. Candy Crush. I mean, you know, well, you know, come to think of it, you know, I knew Candy Crush would pop up. These games are a dime a dozen. You don't want to make another Tetris. You don't. Left brain, right brain. That's actually not even a thing. Let's go back to the home. Let's take a gander at Editor's Choice. Let's just take a quick peek. We'll go back to Top Charts. Of course. Well, you're okay. Let's face it. Let's get this out of the way. You're not going to make a Facebook. You're not going to make an Instagram. You're not going to make a Pandora. Let's see. What's an app that you could make? Simple flashlight. That's obviously every phone has a flashlight. That's not really a possibility. Keep on looking. Maybe another silly little, like a cleaning app. A 2017 cleaning app. You could do the new 2018 cleaning app. I don't even know how one would even go about that. A weight loss program kind of a thing app. Let's just keep looking here. It's just going to take some time. Airbnb. It's pretty cool. Kindle. All right, well, let's focus on games. That's where we really want to take a Star Trek. Obviously, you couldn't do Star Trek or anything like that. We're talking, you're going to have to do something completely unique, something completely different. Just taking a look here. Different app ideas. Royal. Okay, well, anything with this, I mean, it's always a hit. These are always a hit, and you could have your guy kind of, well, this one's a little bit different, but they're all basically the same. Lots of in-store purchases. Oh, man. Here you go. I don't know, like, how far trademarks or copyrights go in this kind of stuff, but I'd imagine pretty far. Let's keep looking here. Five Nights at Freddy's, when that was a thing. And I'm just scrolling here just so you see ideas, just so you have something to go off of. Maybe something pops in your head. A puzzle game. Puzzles. Lots of puzzles. Let's try this. Let's go to, let's type this in. Business. Apps, games. These are all business games. I've basically almost played. This one is really fun. Lots of in-store purchases on that one, which I've never bought. But Venture Capitalist. This game in particular really launched a whole chain of games very similar to it. For whatever reason, it's not loading. That's fine. Touch. Life Simulator. That's just eye-catching. I've never seen this one. An awesome job. Play the stock market. Start a business. Go to school. Good time killer. You see that one a lot. And you know, with a game like this, do you need graphics? No, probably not. Great rating. Over 100,000. See, there's no graphics in this. Watch TV, blah, 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 blah. You know, that's something I might install. That looks very simple, very fun. It's rated teen. Egg Inc. Boy, this is interesting one. Oh, Miner Tycoon. That one has that. See, it's little games like this where you could have, if you could have invented it, you would have made the money. And in-store purchases, particularly with this game, really go around that whole. What do you call it? Go around. Oh, I'm tired, man. They really focus around that pay, and then you can be able to go advance faster in the game, blah 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 blah. But you already knew that. Heyday, I don't know. Oh yeah, I think I remember that game. Build a farm, blah blah. You could say to your programmer, take Heyday, and I want to do this. Oh, this is a 2016. So if you had this game, you could technically, I don't know how embedded this whole 2016 is. They should really update that to put a 17 in, because it makes the game seem newer and fresh and everything like that. This would be a fun one to download, even though it is a 3.5 star with over 1,500 reviews, over 100,000 things. What was another thing I was going to say? You can take a, you've seen those things where review our app, and that is, once your app is reviewed, and the more reviews you get, you can rank higher in the Play Store, App Store, I mean, and be effective that way. You know, another idea I just thought of is, let's not even focus on creating a new app. Let's just focus on how do we make an app better. Photo ones are huge. Different photo filters are a huge thing. You know, another good thing. Why are these people complaining? This app sucks. Blah blah blah. Anytime I push a button to edit, another one pops up. You can't even see. So we can improve this app because this glitch is happening. You can't use own photos to blend it. Has to be their templates. Now, unless that's a buying option, I'm not sure. But I mean, come on, we can make this app better. There's actually quite a bit of negatives compared to the 5 stars. So that would be an app that one could take to the next level. Of course, your competition's huge. Dog Run Pet Simulator. This looks, in my opinion, retarded, but looks like you walk your dog. So how could one improve this? I don't know. More obstacles, different breeds. Here's what people are saying. Love it. Simple yet challenging, but there is a couple issues that need fixing. The daily rewards never work. Okay, we can fix that by making them work. It doesn't save coins, blah, blah, blah. Some of the missions aren't actually possible. So go through and read them. Here's a 3-star. Daily tax reward doesn't work. Some of the missions. Okay, we're seeing this repeatedly. The run far is repetitive. Okay, so we'd have to change that. So what I would recommend is downloading a few of these kind of apps, playing through all of them, and really writing down what you're going to do. It sounds so simple, but for real, this is the process of finding an app idea. Really, you got to come up with an idea. Dog training. The list goes on, and a spending tracker. This would be a great one for pretty much anybody. Let's face it. Let's see. What did the statistics say again? Half the world has a smartphone, And you know, China basically just jumped on board a few years ago with the apps. So that opened up a whole big, what do you call it? A whole big user. Oof, I'm tired. Every dollar budget. I think I even have this one. This is actually a business though. So you probably couldn't use this, but these are all ideas.